right, so for now, though, we want to have another discussion here in studio. Joining me is Felix Odhiambo. He is an election law expert, talking to us about this whole conversation that has been now ongoing for about a month now. Thank you so much for joining us, Felix, on News Center. Yes. So first things first, I'd like to know, from your point of view, what would be the best possible outcome after that report is tabled at the Senate today?
Thank you very much for your invitation.
Right.
I think there has to be an understanding in this country that this debate has been here with us for some times. And like you rightfully pointed out, this was the bill that is currently before the Senate was a product of bipartisan negotiation, a political settlement of some sort, right, that took us from the brink of the precipice. And therefore, any resolution should actually require a bipartisan approach. Now, I commend the Senate Speaker and the Senate generally, and the Justice and Human Rights Committee and the ICT of the Senate for convening and allowing public participation in this important bill. I think the best possible outcome for this would be recognition that our electoral system and our electoral process, given the competitive nature of these elections and given the polarized political environment that we are experiencing, and consistent with the requirement of the Constitution, a move towards introducing and entrenching technology in the electoral process is paramount. This is what happened in Nigeria in 2015. Right. This is what happened in Ghana in 2016 in the recently concluded elections. It can be done. What the debate should be is what is the appropriate technology to use. But I think it's a foregone conclusion that we need technology.
So we're not even discussing whether we need a manual backup. The issue at hand, from your point of view, is that we need to make this process electronic. That's the best way to go about this election.
Absolutely, and it can work. I had the privilege of appearing before the Senate committee, and during that time, I think the consensus based on the submissions by the various groups was towards some form of technology. And there has been serious mixed, call it lack of understanding, if you may, and misrepresentation about technology. In my opinion, the debate between manual and electronic technology is a bit misplaced. And I had the Honorable Attorney General, a man of serious legal intellect, and I have a lot of respect to him, actually saying that if you look at the constitutional architecture for elections in this country, it speaks, and the Supreme Court ruling in Raila Odinga's petition in 2013, it speaks to manual voting. And he went further to say that technology by their very nature are inherently guaranteed to fail. Both assertions and both claims are false. Okay. Now, the debate has been mixed, and the truth of the matter is, if you look at the Constitution, Article 1 on the sovereignty of the people, Article 38 on the political rights, and Article 81 on the principles for the electoral system, and Article 86 on the voting process, they all speak to simple, accurate, transparent, accountable, and verifiable electoral process. Right. If you look at the practice of the previous elections, the 5 multi-party elections held in this country since '92, and look at the Constitution, it is absolutely not true that our voting or election architecture is manual. The objective of the Constitution, the mischief that the Constitution sought to cure, was actually to remove human error that characterized the previous elections. And so another point that has to be appreciated, that there is no country under the earth that has attained 100% electronic voting. Okay. Not the United States, not Western Europe, not even established democracies. The objectives of transparency and accountability inherent in the electoral process almost necessitate human scrutiny. Okay. That is why you have to appear to vote in person to register as a voter. That is why counting is actually manual and things like that. The point is that the dichotomy between manual and electronic voting is misplaced. The question is, there has to be a recognition that electoral process all over the world combine elements of both. All right. Now, given the nature of our elections, the challenge is to look for aspects that can actually be strengthened by technology.
So let's talk about this backup, because like you mentioned, this matter has been complicated and trivialized. You know, it's supposed to be as something that is very simple, but you know, Kenyans are even like confused. Let's talk about a backup. So from your point of view, what would be the best possible, you know, strategy or process when it comes to a backup or system?
Yeah. Let's talk about the bill. Because that is really where the backup is coming from, Article 44 of the Amendment Act. And the truth of the matter is that if you read critically that particular section of the Act, I call it inelegant drafting. It brings certain contradictions, but that is a different point. The truth of the matter is that there is no contention on the registration through BVR. Kenya, based on the experience of 2013, actually 2012, we registered through the BVR. Now, there is a confusion, and I think the country generally is trapped on the practice before 2010 and what we did in 2013. In 2010, in the previous elections before 2013, we were registering manually, and there was a manual register. The so-called backup that happened as a result of 2012 registration through the BVR is not manual by definition. It is a printout of the BVR registration. It is actually an electronic registration. So there is really no backup. There is no other separate register that was registered manually. Now the contention is on EVIDS, the electronic voter identification device, and the results transmission system. This is why we are claiming as a country that we need backup. The problem that we had in 2013 is this. The way it works, if you allow me to explain about this technology, first of all, I don't know whether we have time for that.
Actually, I'm seeing that the session has already started, so we'll continue the conversation shortly.